super jacked guy.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
Even as these grainy satellite images released today by the Chinese government.
Again, the Malaysian flight too was one shot at China saying knock it off.
Why shoot it down though if it's not hostile?
Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space.
Why the Americans would?
They leave distance annihilated.
This country is very powerful. Far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world. Not even close.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should be his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
Let's go, chat. Chills every time, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, don't you love how many little terms that we've already quoted, already coined, we've come up with at this point? I love it, guys. I've had a great time. First of all, guys, OMG, he got the 7K, guys. We're talking politics tonight. For the people, I'm a little bit worried. People are actually taking my post at face value. Yes, I got 7K from a shadowy figure in a robe with gray hair. He just said, "Call me N." Interesting. No, guys. Why am I doing this? Why am I talking about Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk case and Andrew Wilson and the debate? That's what the skeptics want to say. They want to ask. You're in on it. You're in. You guys got the 7K. You're in the secret chats. No, I'm not. Guys, let me be 100% clear. Why am I doing this? Because my name is Ashton Forbes, and you pissed me off a long time ago, and now I'm back for revenge. This is the 4 Orbs curse. It's coming back for you. I told you it would come. But no, in all honesty, the reason is because these people are basically like Luigi Mangione schizos. They've fallen in love with the theater and the idea and the sportsmanship and the tribal nature of what's going on and the underlying Israel theme. It doesn't have anything to do with the truth anymore. And the problem with that is normally I wouldn't care. But a guy was assassinated. He's got children and a wife. And I heard Candace Owens specifically say today that she doesn't think TPUSA is his legacy. That his wife isn't qualified to follow up in his legacy. Anybody that says that, that's evil. Defending a murderer, Tyler Robinson, and he's the murderer, I will bet on it, is evil. Now, tonight, we're going to talk about a bunch of issues, and we are going to talk about disclosure and UFO phenomenon and advanced technology. But we're going to talk about at least 2 of the 3 sacred topics. Are you guys aware of the sacred topics, all of you? Some of you are new and you may not be aware. There are 3 topics that are highly controversial that we never discuss on live streams because of how controversial they are. Number 1, Candace Owens, obviously. Obviously, Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk. Too controversial. People get too emotional, too upset. Number 2, jetpacks. Jetpacks chat. I know a lot of you You believe that they're real. In your heart of hearts, you know that they're real, but unfortunately, jetpacks are not really a thing. I'm not going to believe it till I see the jetpack man flying around myself. I know a lot of you are going to send me videos. You're going to say, Ashton, they're real. Look at this guy hovering over the water with his little air blaster thing. That's not a jetpack, chat. Doesn't qualify. That's not rocket, man. I'm sorry. I would go into it further. I would argue with you guys for an hour all stream, but you guys know this is why it's one of those we can't talk about it. One of the big 3 topics. And the third topic, chat, the one I want to bring up right now, daylight savings. Let's start it off controversial, chat. Daylight savings. It is real. We are going to make it daylight savings all the time. Chad, if you're riding with 4 orbs, you're right about everything. You may not enjoy it. Sometimes you get a punch to the gut, a truth nuke, as the kids say. But you're right about everything. I said daylight savings all the time. I even went into elaborate detail on why it should be daylight savings all the time and why most people have no clue what they're talking about when we bring up daylight savings. And it should not be surprising after today. Why is it black-pilled themed today? Because everything is black-pilled today. Daylight savings, we're black-pilled on daylight savings, chat. Nobody even knows what the hell we're talking about. People are like, I'm going to lose an hour of sunshine in the summer. And I'm like, no, it's already daylight savings in the summer, so it's not going to impact that. We struggle, chat. Okay, let me bring it up. The man himself, President Trump, has weighed in. Chat, you know, we are big fans of the administration. They don't even pay me to be a big fan of the administration. I just do it for love of the game. Now, if that's too small for you to read, too bad. I'll read it to you. For many years, the vast majority of Americans, vast majority, chat. You say, Ashton, what are his sources? I say his sources are shut the hell up. Just like Candace Owens, we just have sources and we don't have to tell you because you trust the plan, chat, and things do not go wrong. So majority of Americans asked to make daylight savings time permanent. Correct. But no administration has been able to get it properly done until now. I am proud to announce the House of Representatives has passed the bill and it has now gone to the Senate for final approval. People are sick and tired of having to change their clocks twice a year. Exactly. I don't even remember when it happens. The phone just changes and then they're like, you lost an hour. Why? Stupid. It is foolish, inconvenient, and some cases costly. Okay, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. You guys suck if you believe that we should not do this. Basically, that's how it works. Because why? Here's the reason at the end. It makes it safer for children to walk home from school, increases time with your family, strongly supports extracurricular activity, big boost in sports, fitness, tourism, retail, restaurant industries, and you save money on energy bills because everybody gets to enjoy an extra hour of daylight in the afternoon in the wintertime. Exactly. Leave it as it is right now, and we never have to change it ever again. We don't go back. We just leave it how it is right now. Simple. Everybody can get behind this. Now, let me break it down because I don't want to spend much more time on this. This is one of the controversial topics. The argument, if we really boil it down to the facts, are this. You either lose an hour in the morning in the wintertime and gain an hour in the evening in the wintertime. So the sun goes down a little bit later in the winter, but it also comes up a little bit later. Or if we were to do the opposite, which some people say is make it not daylight savings all the time, that means right now we would flip back an hour. So for example, I'm on Central Time. It's like 6:10. It would be What time would it be? Well, it would be 7:10 right now. It would be later already. The point being, we're going to lose an hour of sunshine. I don't want to lose an hour of sunshine in the summertime. That's crazy. So it really boils down to whether or not you're somebody that wakes up early in the morning and therefore you like sun in the morning, or if you're somebody that likes to stay up later and you prefer sun in the evening. That's all it really boils down to. Anybody trying to make it about their circadian rhythms or whatever, none of that really makes any sense because your body just adjusts and then whatever it adjusts to is normal. It's not some magical perfect flow that you time flow. It doesn't even make sense. There's time zones. Okay, there we go. Next topic, chat. Guys, I hope you're buckled up. This is a variety show today. And I'm tired. Guys, news. I came back from recording with Gaia. I had a little spa day. They are, by the way, the best. If you get an opportunity to do a Gaia show, just say yes. Just say yes. Don't ask. Just say yes. Enjoy being pampered. Enjoy it. And I got to talk to Jimmy Church, who I have not talked to at all. So like I told you guys, our paths will cross eventually, even if it's forced. And it was knocked it out of the park. Unfortunately, I think they're behind a paywall, so only people that are members are going to be able to watch that, but it's awesome. What was the other thing I was going to say? Crap. Now I lost my train of thought. Okay, let me pull up the next thing here. Yeah, crap. The Chinese spy satellite thing. Okay, one thing I want to bring up here. Maybe I've become too conspiratorial. But this happened the other day. And I'm going to mute it because it's just people yelling. But this is a Chinese launch for a military civilian / combination rocket or a satellite. Now, let's just skip ahead a little bit here. A little over a minute or so into this, suddenly, this rocket blows up. This rocket goes kaboomy. And I have to say, knowing what I know now about what we're capable of and what technology is significant and important, I mean, I've got some thoughts. Just like the first thing I thought was the Elon Musk or the SpaceX rocket where you see that thing fly across and then suddenly the rocket explodes and everyone's like, huh, did someone just hit that? Certainly looks like it in slow-mo. My second thought was the CIA did that. Like that's some Stuxnet hardware, software, sabotage thing that we most likely did. You would think too, something that you're never going to be able to get caught. Something where you either deploy some malicious code that fits into the background that they can't see at all because they're going to be checking for that, or you manipulate the supply line. You manipulate the supply line and you make some of the pieces too weak so that they just structurally fail and they just don't expect it, right? You could do a lot of things that would look natural that nobody would be able to find out about. No, I don't think they use the orbs on it. No, I don't think they hit it with directed energy weapon. No, that's too obvious. You're going to get caught if you do something like that. You guys aren't subtle enough. The CIA, what we've learned from the CIA guys, they're very subtle. Look at the MH370 videos in the beginning of this live stream. Notice there's just 2 drones there. There's no people. It's just 2 drones recording 3 autonomous orbs spinning around the plane. If you really boil it down, you're like, wait, there's nobody even there. And they're doing this in the dead of night, 2 a.m, in the middle of the night, pitch black. These people aren't going to get caught shooting a directed energy weapon at a space launch that there's 1,000 cameras recording. So we've got to be smart. Now, that reminded me, thankfully, of the other thing. It was right there, chat. My Candace Owens posts seem to have attracted Nick Fuentes' attention. I repeatedly see him liking my random posts about the Candace Owens or the Tyler Robinson case. I think he may be a little bi-curious, chat. I think he might want to know a little bit more about the orbs, if you know what I'm saying. But no, in honesty, all honesty, we should have a conversation. I mean, he should be able to look at this and go, look, I believe in some crazy ass shit. I believe in some teleporting orbs. Absolutely, 100%. I stand by it. But I also believe in logic and reason. And here's the reality. The next generation needs to know about the implications of this technology. I'm old. I'm a boomer, chat. Half boomer. Nick Fuentes is full-on Zoomer. Full Zoomer. We must pass down this sacred knowledge to the next generation, and then they can decide how to blow up the planet. Or maybe they'll make it a fascist dystopia. I don't know. I don't care. I'll be dead at that point. But it is our duty to inform them or try to inform them. We're basically like missionaries. Think of it. We're the disciples and the missionaries of the sacred texts, right? I don't have it with me, but you guys know the sacred texts. I see you buying them. By the way, Chad, do not buy the stuff off of Amazon for like $400. You're getting scammed. Come to the Discord or go to the people on Twitter. We have ways that you can get these books for cheaper. I'm talking about the science books. Okay. So if Nick wants to have a conversation, I would love to explain physics to him and to his audience. And he's happy to explain why the Jews control the world or whatever. I will listen to whatever he wants to explain to me happily in exchange of information and knowledge. Okay, let's move on. Guys, should we do some alien shit first before we talk about this Candace Owens thing? Or should we just get it out of the way? Let's just get it out of the way, guys. Okay, guys. Sorry. Here we go. The big debate. Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens. First of all, high-level opinions and thoughts on the debate. Candace Owens did a pretty terrible job. I thought she was getting exposed pretty much the whole time. Exposed on the fact that she has no evidence for anything, that she kept trying to reframe all the questions, that she tries to play dumb and pretend like she doesn't understand words like complicit when she's being shown clips of herself. I mean, she got basically exposed being completely dishonest and completely unwilling to stand by her own statements and convictions, which is exactly what I expected to have happen. On the other side, I thought Andrew Wilson was not very well prepared because he didn't know that much about the in-depth nuance of the conspiracy garbage. He could have hammered her harder on more points, specifically the Aspen video where Erica Kirk appoints Charlie and she denied all of that and pretended like it didn't happen, and she has the video. I mean, you could destroy her over that. She can be destroyed over the fact that she apparently has the rooftop footage and she just didn't reveal the part where somebody is assembling a rifle on the roof. We know that because there's basically nowhere to hide on the roof. So if the person was assembling the rifle on the roof, it's going to be on the footage. It's going to be on that footage there. And if she has that, she's seen that, but she was promoting an exploding microphone theory. So Andrew Wilson could have gone way harder on some of these points on her and completely exposed the fact that she's extremely disingenuous. So the other big thing, too, is that he was clearly doing this for clout. Like, no doubt, ankle biting for months. Come, debate me, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, 200,000. Like, we get it. You want clout. You're willing to pay for clout. We understand it. Nobody ever thought a debate was going to solve any of this. So we can just be honest. And let's be honest that I think he will admit he was doing it for clout, because he immediately also did a give, send, go where people are giving him tens of thousands of dollars on top of that which I guess I'm going, okay, make your money, get your money. But like, this was supposed to be about Charlie Kirk and like his family. And instead, it's pretty much just a bunch of people profiting off of it. I want to point out, too, if I've lost you, too bad. Because part of this, too, why it's a black pill today, there's a lot of people here who can't stand this topic because they are 100% convinced that, I don't know, they won't even tell me somebody other than Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. You're wrong. And it's hard to listen to when you're being told that you're wrong. It's brutal. It's painful, especially when you don't have any evidence on your side. You have no facts, no arguments, nothing you can say. Candace Owens, there's literally no arguments whatsoever that a single one of her followers can say that she won. Not one. Not a single argument. And here's the harsh reality. If you can't get over this, if you can't admit that you were wrong and move on past this, because you are wrong. If you don't realize that Tyler Robinson did it, you are wrong. I'm telling you from the future right now. I keep telling you I'm from the future. You don't listen. Tyler Robinson is going to be convicted and sentenced to death. That's what happens in the future. And you're out here going, he's 100% innocent. I know for sure he's innocent. Duh. Let's be clear. If that's you, your future is trash. Your future is never getting 0 point energy. Not ever in your life. You're going to live and die as a slave, and you're going to be reconstituted down into Soylent Green and tubed into other people for their sustenance. That's your future. I'm out here trying to save you from that, trying to save the sinners and bring them back towards the saint. Now let's get to the arguments, the key points that were made. I'm not going to go through all of them. We don't need to. We don't need to re-go through all this stuff again. But we need to go through a few of these points. Number one is yet another one of these arguments that's had no support. This idea that there is a receipt that gives Tyler Robinson an alibi at some steakhouse. So Viva Frey, he points out correctly here, there's no evidence for it.
My other question is about the steakhouse receipt.
You just said that you were done asking all your questions.
So nothing there.
Do you have the steakhouse receipts? My question.
I have said several times that I have never said I have the receipt for the steakhouse. I have said the person who's working on that story is going to be forthcoming with the receipt. And that was what I was responding to. And he then dropped the receipt. He redacted elements of it. And I said, stay tuned. He's the one working on that story.
That was 8 months ago. That was January. The claim being here is there's an alibi for Tyler Robinson at a steakhouse. And this is part of her official story in her story of what really happened. Only problem, that receipt is completely fabricated. It doesn't exist. The screenshot that was posted online is just some fake receipt somebody posted. The reason why there's no name or number on the receipt, why it's all blurred out, because it doesn't say Tyler Robinson. How do we know? Because the dude came out and said he wasn't even there that day, and that there's nothing that corroborates any of this story that's being told right here. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So Andrew Wilson wins this argument easily because this is the worst thing. This is just a matter of calling up the card number and finding out who the name is connected to it, which if you're Candace Owens and you've got government contacts leaking you stuff, this seems like the most trivial thing that you could do. But you didn't do that in the last 8 months. It proves your whole timeline, and it's only one phone call. So for the schizos, anybody defending Candace Owens, what the hell are you talking about? This is my most kind and generous I can be to you. She didn't even do the most basic scrutiny on her own evidence for her own story. As somebody who has to answer about where planes are being teleported to, this sort of bugs me a little bit. There's no way somebody is honest who doesn't even answer a question like this.
Sorry.
Okay, so you
never-
haven't actually confirmed that Robinson was at that steakhouse.
All I did, as I said earlier in this conversation, was I spoke to the owner when I broke that story. I think it was back in January. I spoke to the owner, understood what had happened, and that there was a receipt. That's it. That's the extent of what I shared is what happened.
Okay, now I'm going to spare you guys the rest of this because I don't like listening to it either, honest. I thought it was horrible. I thought listening to somebody who's just avoiding every question, like literally just admits right there, the extent of what I did was there's a receipt, it exists, and I spoke to the owner. Any specifics about that conversation? Nope. I spoke to that owner. Okay, well, other people spoke to the owner too, and he wasn't even there that day. This is the bullshit that Candace does. She spins the truth into a fake story, and people build the fake story in their head, and they believe it to be true 100%. And there's people arguing over, but they showed the receipt. Candace says she confirmed it. No, this is her saying she didn't confirm it. That the only thing she did was call the store owner. That's it. Do you get it? Do you get the grift? I'm trying to wake you up. For the people that are so mentally, cognitively impaired that you still don't see that Tyler Robinson did this, I'm trying to show you exactly how they're lying to you. And here's the objective. You ready for this? Why are these people doing this? It's to flood the zone. They're flooding the zone with misinformation, fake information. Like Tyler Robinson was at a steakhouse. He can't have been there. Right? That's exactly what they're arguing. They're saying they're trying to find some way to prove that Tyler Robinson can't have been at UVU. They're trying to flood the zone with misinformation, and then they point at their own fake information that they made up, and they go, this doesn't make any sense. See, this doesn't make any sense with the official story. Yeah, because it's not. You just made it up. Just like they literally made up that the gun that was shown in the photos was not the real gun. It was the real gun. They're like, that's a stock photo. That's not the real gun. That's fake. That's a stock photo. Why are they showing fake stock photos? That was also fake. That was another fake thing that they threw out there. And they said, none of this story makes any sense. Well, yeah, if you keep making up fake things, it does not going to make any sense. Okay, let's go to the next clip. This was by far the worst. Now, this is where Andrew Wilson fell into the trap. I'm not avoiding criticizing Andrew Wilson. By the way, anybody thinks I have any special love for Andrew Wilson, why don't you go back like a couple months when we were going to just do a friendly debate and or discussion, and I told him, I want you to come at me as hard as you can in this debate over advanced technology. And multiple times at the last minute, he's like, whoa, let's reschedule. I'll see if I can fit it in, trying to high road me the whole time. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you, dude. If it's not a serious thing for you, then I don't want to do it. So I have no special love for Andrew Wilson at all. And I'm counting that as a W when he decided, when he ran away after all that. That's a W for me. And to add on to my own ego, I would have done better than him in this debate. I would have done better than him in this debate. I would have been more prepared, and I would not have let her just ramble on for like 5 minutes about random nonsense that she kept doing this whole time. And I would have seen through this trap right here. This was the most obvious trap, and it shows Andrew Wilson isn't prepared for dishonest people like Candace. I don't have it clipped exactly at this part, but Candace goes, can you tell me what the charges are against Tyler Robinson? The moment she says that, I knew instantly what she was trying to do. She knew that there was some extra charges that they threw on there because they were trying to like say that he coerced Lance Twiggs or something like that. And she was trying to play the MSM gotcha game of, you don't know the exact charge, therefore you're stupid, right? Like, you could see it coming a mile away from her facial expression. You can also tell that she had this prepared. By the way, for the drunk wine mom, wait, this isn't you. Where were they? For the drunk wine moms, I see you, drunk wine mom. I might be better at physics than politics, but I'm also better at politics than Candace Owens is. And I'm going to prove it to you here. She was ready to play this game, and he should have seen through it right away. He should have seen through it right away. He did a pretty good job, but he should have seen through the game right away and called her out on it, especially because she was trying to play the victim. Throughout this whole interview, she's trying to play the victim. She's trying to plead to the audience, bargaining with the audience, trying to convince the audience that she won the debate. That's the most pathetic shit ever. By the way, chat, if you're ever in a debate, never try to convince the audience at the end that you won. The only reason why you're trying to do that is you know you lost. So never trying to convince the audience that you won. She lost the debate, and she knew she lost, and she was trying to do damage control at the end. It's pretty embarrassing. Pretty transparent as well. But this was the worst, because she was trying to say that Andrew Wilson was trying to set her up, trying to ask her unfair questions. None of the questions were unfair. And then she does this. Get ready.
Which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
When a Jezebel looks at you like that, you know that you got hit with the CNN trap. You know the CNN gotcha. She's trying her best. She got by CNN herself, and this is her best bet. Which of the charges in the assassination do you think he's most guilty of? How about the murder of Charlie Kirk? Is this what kind of gotcha is this? The murder of Charlie Kirk? And I don't think this is the gotcha you think this is, Candace Owens. I don't know. What is she actually trying to show here? Like, what was she thinking in her mind that the gotcha was going to be? Well, we're about to find out. You ready for this? And this actually, crazy enough, I would normally give Candace Owens the benefit of the doubt on what I'm going to show you right now. But she has proven in her repeated inability to say basic words that I think she's actually just this stupid and did not know that these two things are the same. Go ahead.
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
when she goes, yeah, that's how you know the trap, chat. Maybe I just have woke sense. I don't really know. Maybe I've got superpowers from the aliens downloading the physics into my brain, but I can just feel it. I saw this trap coming a mile away. Andrew Wilson can feel something's not right here. He can feel it. The specific charge?
What I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah, can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones.
I'm just smiling watching this. She's like, but which specific charge do you think most likely he's guilty with? And then he's like, well, like, can you just list them and I'll tell you like which one? And she's like, no. Which one specifically? Like, okay, like he finally catches on to the game she's playing here. I had caught on to the game like 30 seconds before this and was just wondering how this was going to play out, but he finally catches on to the game here.
We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges?
And there we go. Do you know what the charges are? So she knew she was getting destroyed. I feel like what happened here. I feel like I can just see what happened here. She knew she was getting completely destroyed in this debate. She knew it was going horribly for her. She was crashing out like crazy. So they go to the break, probably the final break, right? And they did multiple breaks. And somebody said, oh, you got to drop the thing we practiced. Drop the gotcha about do you know the charges? Because this proves you don't know enough about the case so that therefore all your opinions are invalid. It's like you couldn't list literally one piece of evidence for any of your claims, not one. But if you don't know the specific exact, if you can't name all specific 7 charges right now, then your opinion is invalid. But here's the best part.
he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But
Can
I
you-
want to
can you
make sure
name
that we
one?
have them listed.
Yeah, but like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following
Is that
the
it?
case.
That's the
Yeah.
question. You
Yeah.
just
See, he finally figures it out. He's like, wait, that's what you're trying to do? He's like, that's what this is about, is you're trying to do some God shit of me? Like, yes, Andrew, that was clearly what she was trying to do. She was clearly setting you up for that. Like, did you not figure that out? Now you're only figuring that out? Like, you say you're a master debater, but you didn't see this coming? See, chat, this is me being critical. Should have seen this coming. I saw it coming. And it was kind of sad that this was Candace Owens' only shot, right? Was playing some pathetic move, CNN level move like this.
It's not following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like,
right.
can you tell me one
Then let's do the
charge?
count.
Exactly, right? It's exactly the same as woke. I call it wokeness, but it's people that are basing everything on their feelings. Candace is basing everything on innuendo and feelings. No facts, no evidence. And this is how they argue. They argue with personal attacks. They argue with, well, but can you name all specific 7 charges? If you can't, you don't care about the case enough. Oh, you care about the case more. Therefore, we should listen to your nonsense innuendo. That's their real arguments. That's what they really believe. That's what wokeness is, chat. Wokeness is people that really believe that their feelings and innuendo is more important than facts and logic. That's exactly what wokeness is, and that's exactly why Candace Owens is woke. So when people say, why do you call these people woke, right? Because they are, by definition, woke. They base their opinions on feelings.
You can really hang on. This is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play clips out of context, put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the
This
question.
is fair.
Can
Name
you
all
name-
7
can
since
you-
you've been following the case.
Oh, and then he messes up again. This is actually the biggest mistake. Not only did he fall into the trap, he actually made it worse for himself. This is the wrong response. She knows all 7. If she's questioning you and wants you to list them, she studied them ahead of time to make sure she knew. She had them all written down and she was ready to catch you on them. You can't be like, can you name all 7? Because of course she can. This is like when people questioned the text message photo. Remember when she had some secret text message and everyone's like, the text message is fake. And I was like, wait, no. I was like, no, she's trying to trap you guys. The text message is real. She's just edited it out of context, right? This is the same thing. So this was the mistake he made.
Okay, sure. You
Go ahead.
name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like
Name all 7.
and I.
Can you
think
name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure, you don't have to
Do
put
it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
you don't have
name
to put
'em.
your fingers up. I
Okay,
can do
hang on.
that.
Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's
Am I taking crazy pills here? She makes him name one. She won't continue until he names one. He says murder. Yeah, Tyler Robinson's on trial for murder. He killed Charlie Kirk. She goes, no, that's wrong. What are you talking about? No, it's not. And then she lists them. And the first one she lists is aggravated murder. And she goes, it's completely different. Chat, if this is where you're going to get information, this explains why nobody in America can read. I thought it was just poor education in the schools. No, it's the podcasters that are making us retarded. Sorry, I had to drop the R word one time, even though we're going for those Disney bucks. Chat, I think she actually doesn't understand that they're the same thing. Like, normally I would say she's just playing up for grifting purposes. I think she literally thinks they're different things.
That's what carries a death sentence
So
in the
murder.
state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
It's literally not murder? Why do you think that it says murder in the name? Holy crap. So for the people that don't know, A, why is Candace Owens pretending to know anything about the law? A, she doesn't. B, she's wrong about everything related to the law. C, she seems to think that she is the law and that she's doing the same thing as the courts do. She said that multiple times. Aggravated murder is just extenuating circumstance that make it so that we can give them the death penalty, because a lot of places are against the death penalty. That's it. It's still murder that you're under arrest for, that they're trying you for. It's just that this was a high profile case and people wanted Tyler Robinson to die for this. And therefore they're going for the extenuating circumstance, which I think is correct. 100%. So to make this splitting hairs argument, and then this is the thing that they're saying she won over, guys. I'm looking at my replies right now where I asked, give me one thing that Candace Owens won. This is the thing they're saying she won, where she was completely wrong about what murder is, and that aggravated murder is not significantly different than regular murder. This is the thing that they claim proves she knows. And here's the best part. They're claiming that this means that Candace Owens knew so much more about the case that she wins the argument de facto. But this is crazy to me because she didn't even know that Tyler Robinson's father confronted Tyler Robinson, and she didn't know that Tyler Robinson admits that he's in the surveillance. This is why the text messages, you can't just throw them out. The text messages corroborate the other evidence. In one of them, he says, "It's me. You can see me in the surveillance." Hello? Guys, this is why if you are still a schizo that thinks that like Israel did it or whatever, you are in a trap. Your credibility is being destroyed. You are currently in a psyop by Candace Owens and others. They are destroying you. I'm here to try to pull you out at the last minute while there's still hope. And if you're not paying attention to what I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry, because this is probably the last opportunity. Here's her being confronted with the text messages that she didn't know were real, or that the confrontation by the father. Because people say, well, he never turned him, the parents never turned their son in. And they say, well, that clearly did happen. We can tell from the context. Here's the context in the charging document.
They just could be somebody else.
The parents fact check.
So I was saying, right? I believe what you're talking about was derived from the charging doc, which was signed off by Brian Davis. Let's see if that's correct.
The context that's missed here, I'll let it go in a second. She's trying to spin a story that Brian Davis, who I guess is just the police officer that wrote this up, she's trying to spin a story that he wrote up a fabricated charging document. That's what she's not saying it directly, guys. Chat. She's not saying it directly, of course not. But that's what she's insinuating, as opposed to just reading what's on the page and realizing this must be the story of what happened because this is the charging document. Doesn't have to be exactly true, but there's going to be evidence that corroborates the words you're reading here.
What are we looking at
Robinson's
here?
mother explained that over the last year or so, I'm sorry.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Is this the charging doc?
I can't see it. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched the rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle, which makes sense with the text messages. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home.
Yes. So this is proving my point. This is from the charging document, correct? Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is that 3 people got interviewed on that night. Mike Mitchell got interviewed, Amber Robinson got interviewed, and Matt Robinson got interviewed. Of the 3 of them, only one of them actually wrote a statement, which was referred to in this preliminary trial. He came in, I believe, in March.
What in the hell is she talking about? This is why, guys, if you're a complete moron, no, let me rephrase this. You are a complete moron if you think she's cooking here in any way, shape, or form. She's saying absolutely nothing here. We just read off the charging document of what happened, and it's corroborated by text messages, which we've seen pictures of on Lance Twiggs's phone. We've seen the text messages. We know they're on his real phone because we've seen the photos of his phone with the text messages on them. Okay? They corroborate what we just saw there in the charging document because the text messages say, my dad was texting me, asking me about the gun. And now her response to all of this is, well, but this guy who wrote up this thing and this guy that wrote up this thing over here, what does this all mean? Nothing. What are you talking about? Shut up. And then she says, well, you're not paying attention to my evidence. This isn't evidence. This is just schizo ramblings of a mentally ill nut job.
Mike Mitchell, and he wrote a statement, which I find to be very shady that they decided to bring.
But why aren't the parents disputing that?
No. Well, first off,
that's the question.
First off, the parents are not going to ever play in court, play to the.
And now she knows she's caught in a lie. Why aren't the parents denying this? The parents are the ones that turn their son in, that convince their son to turn himself in. And we can infer that based on what we just read. Because we know the series of events is after those text messages and conversation, the kid went to their friends who is a deputy or whatever, and they turned themselves in. So we know that confrontation happened. And now she's going, well, the parents would never do that. What are you talking? Of course, the parents would speak out if their son was being railroaded in a fake trial. Doesn't matter what the legal lawyers say to you. Unreal. How are you listening to this?
Cameras in court when they have a legal team that is going to be advising them not to speak to the court because your son could go to prison
but
forever.
They're playing to somebody else who's your source.
I'm not going to address that.
She was claiming she has a secret source that says the parents don't believe any of this. None of this ever happened. That all that write-up is fake, and that they all believe that Israel did it. Paraphrasing. Are you kidding me? And then when she's asked, okay, well, what's your secret source that you claim denies all of this, that you claim is an insider? She goes, I'm not going to address that. Are you kidding me, lady? You're claiming to have secret evidence that completely exonerates Tyler Robinson. And if you really believe that, which of course she doesn't, you are letting an innocent man hang. If she's actually being honest, then she needs to reveal her sources so that we can get an innocent kid off. But she's not doing that. She needs to corroborate the receipt that would give him an alibi, but she's not doing that. And I'm here to tell you, if you're still somehow disillusioned by this, this is the grift. She's not doing any of these things because she knows she's lying. She knows she's lying to you because she knows you're an idiot. You say, she always says, do they think we're idiots? Yes, she knows you're an idiot. She knows you're an idiot, and she knows you're going to keep giving your donos about, go Max, Candace. Go Max. Go Max, Candace. You really got those Jews today. She knows you're going to. And this has become a point where they can probably calculate it out exactly how much revenue they're going to get from you. It's actually crazy that people are still listening to this. People call me a grifter. People call me a grifter. Anyone ever calls me a grifter ever again? I'm just going to say, where are you on calling out Candace Owens? She pocketed $300,000 for this. $300,000 minimum.
To someone else who's your source, but won't go publicly tell the media this is not true?
Well, what I did not say to you that I just said I have a source, so I want to be very clear. and take it from somebody who is involved and permanently.
Yeah, very, very clear, Candace. I want to be very clear. The last thing she is being is clear about any of this. She also claims that she got a secret source in the French government told her that she was going to be assassinated by French legionnaires and Israelis. And here's the best part about it. I don't have a clip for this. There is one. We're not going to post it. She didn't even tell the feds what her source was. I was wondering, I'm sitting there thinking, I bet you anything she didn't even tell the feds when she reported the assassination. I bet she didn't even say what the source was. She didn't. She confirms in this after a lot of hand-wringing that she never even told the feds who the source was of the information. And she expected them to follow up on it. You gave them literally nothing except for an anonymous tip that you were a third-hand anonymous tip that you were going to be assassinated with nothing actionable, and you expected them to come knocking on your door. Yes, Candace, please tell us exactly. Ooh, you got an anonymous source from somebody in the French government. Oh boy, this sounds very serious. We're going to put all our resources on this. Holy, you cannot underestimate how delusional this woman is. In fact, this has blackpilled me to the level where the reason why we're talking about this is I'm just sitting here wondering, like, is this even all worth it? Should I even be talking about science anymore? If people can just grift like this and just make shit up, why am I working so hard? Why am I even trying to educate these people? Honestly, I should be trying to do the opposite, if anything. Really has me, honestly, second guessing everything. Now, last clip, I think this is the last one. Oh, wait, no, it's two more. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Okay, another gotcha. This is the surveillance one, guys. Here you go. This is my favorite. Now, this is Candace Owens. Candace Owens' main argument for claiming she won is that she knows the case better than Andrew. Okay, well, this kind of defeats that argument.
Things we have Rule 801, Tyler's messages, that says it's not hearsay. But first, go to what Candace is asking about Skylar. I think you have it. You just texted me if you want to pull it up. You said you have the text. If we can put that up on the screen. Thank you.
It was me. Look at the pictures from the surveillance footage. It was me. Okay. I literally said to you, it's not an oof. I said I didn't remember this, and I'm happy to have a fact check on that. Okay. I didn't call for the fact check saying you're wrong. I literally said I don't remember that from the
I'm
text
just saying to you, like, I'm trying to be concise for you.
And then also bring the 801 that you just said. What was the other one?
Yep.
Let me help you out, schizos. You're going to get science, I don't know, whenever I feel like it, soon. Whenever you guys finally accept the truth. It was me. Look at the pictures from the surveillance footage. It was me. I'm serious. States evidence 16.2. Are you guys kidding me? Candace Owens didn't even know that Tyler Robinson admits that it's him in the surveillance. She's been saying, you have no evidence it's him in the surveillance. How about him admitting that it's him? My goodness, how thick are you people? The craziest part is that she claims when she's asked, what evidence would you believe? She says, if you had 4K footage of Tyler taking the shot. What? Number one, there's basically no murders where we have 4K footage of the person taking the shot. Basically none. If that was the bar, no murders would ever be solved. Ever. Number two, her standard of evidence is nowhere near that high. Candace Owens is trying to say that all the evidence that the state has put forward is hearsay and doesn't meet any evidentiary standard, but all her evidence is based on vibes and dreams and anonymous sources. By her own admission. By her own admission. She says her only evidence is anonymous sources that she won't corroborate. That nobody can corroborate. But she's demanding 4K evidence from anybody else's perspective. If you want her to believe something, she needs 4K video evidence. But if she's going to believe something, it just requires some vibes and dreams. If it feels right, then it's probably true. This has radicalized me, chat. I've been struggling with this. I'm sitting here wondering, I'm Chat, you know I'm not a bigot. Chat, you know I'm not a bigot. But I can understand now why women were not previously allowed to vote. Now, I'm not saying all women are low intelligence that are driven by emotion, but clearly there's a vast number of them that are attracted to this kind of true crime, conspiracy slop. Like, they don't even care that you're just kind of making it up as you go. And I sit here and wonder how there's no way we're ever going to be able to reveal this technology to these people. No chance. In fact, this is why I think I relate to Nick Fuentes. Because Nick Fuentes created these people to some degree. Not exactly, but you get the point. He essentially came out as the anti-Israel person from a high IQ perspective. And then, of course, the low IQ grifters attracted to it. They saw the dollar signs and they said, ooh, we can use this. And now I look at this and I go, man, we're kind of in a similar situation here. I cultivated this big group of people that want to reveal this conspiracy about free energy and teleportation. And then I realize a bunch of you guys are complete schizos that I can't trust with any of this. I'm just saying, I understand the plight of Nick Fuentes in this moment right now, chat. I have a similar analogy. I understand the struggles. Okay, let's finish this clip. We're almost done.
The 801, Tyler messages saying it's not hearsay, if you have that as well. There you go.
He said all the evidence was hearsay that was admitted at the trial. I don't know how Andrew Wilson didn't destroy her over this. Sure, some evidence that was revealed in the pre-trial was hearsay. Not all of it. The most important one, in my opinion, was the phone where you can see the text messages. The text messages that she was claiming were fake. Going to be kind of hard to say the text messages are fake when they're on the dude's cell phone. You may say, oh, somebody else put them in there. Okay, to start developing a timeline for someone else to put those text messages in there. Because you know what? Phones have GPS on them nowadays. Good luck.
Saying it's not hearsay.
Statements that are not hearsay. A statement that meets the following conditions is not hearsay.
It was hearsay. They said it in the trial.
Hang on. Okay. Is consistent with the declarant's testimony and the declarant denies having made the statement or has forgotten, or is consistent with the declarant's testimony and is offered to rebut the express implied charge. That
talked about this for about an hour and a half, and they discussed how if Lance was in court and he was giving his first party, giving his testimony as the opposing party, whatever, all of this would be fine. They had an issue with how the questions were being asked and that they were not allowed to cross-examine him.
Candace Owens clearly knows nothing about how courts work or trials or anything, and she's just getting her information from what Ian Carroll sends her on YouTube. That's clearly what's happening here. I'm going to go ahead and go all in on this like a game of Clue. Ian Carroll sends her a YouTube video, says, Candace, you totally got to watch this breakdown. This will give you all the talking points you need for your stupid show. And then she just watches it, doesn't understand any of it, and then just says it and repeats the stupid shit that she says. No. And then this is why she just says things wrong. And then says like, oh, aggravated murder is different. I'll say that it's all hearsay. She doesn't even know what hearsay even means.
So that is why his video testimony
she actually doesn't even know what hearsay means.
And what I said to you is this entire preliminary hearing is under Utah's 1102. So they are allowed to.
The crazy part is she unironically believes that because of this law, she believes that what she's doing is the same level as what the courts are doing. That is, by definition, narcissism, egomania. Like she is completely delusional beyond repair.
Just use hearsay. And
no,
so
you didn't say that. You said most of it was
last
hearsay,
clip we're going to do here. Promise this is the last one. Maybe not. I'm going to do this one first.
From Charlie Kirk to his security team on September 9th, 2025. I'm going to share the message with you today, which is the first time this information's ever been publicly revealed. On September 9th, Charlie's security team wrote to him, yes, law enforcement has been fully supportive and agreed to a security plan and posture. Tomorrow's event will be covered by both my team and the campus PD. If additional support is required, patrol units will be available. I have 11 on site. Charlie responded with this, okay, great. Remind them that they are there for one person's security only, because I'm somewhat worried the left is trying to kill me.
So that right there is a brand new text message that Candace Owens never had a copy of, and she was super mad about it. Why? Because it destroys her entire narrative. The entire narrative that she's been trying to develop, that she admits to, is that they've been trying to build this motive that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Now, there's the problem, is that's a direct message from one day before it happened, telling his security that the left is trying to kill him. And he was killed by the left. Tyler Robinson is a homosexual leftist dating a trans furry. Or a furry. I don't know if he was a trans, but you get the point. That's a fact. If you read what was inscribed on the bullets, it's pretty clear it was a political targeted attack. This is what they hate. They're trying to push a narrative, and they don't have all the facts, and they know they don't have all the facts. Therefore, it's very difficult to push a false narrative. If you reveal the facts, then they're going to twist the facts, and then they're going to present a narrative that they want. But in this case, TPUSA trapped Candace Owens. They trapped her, and they didn't reveal that, even though she was begging them for all his messages, and they just ignored her. And now she's caught in a lie. Now it turns out the most recent message of Charlie Kirk's safety says that it was the left that was going to do it, not Israel, the left. Now, last clip.
Yeah,
the overwhelming.
The rationale and the motive. This
Immediately
I thought
after
this
Charlie
was the
died.
most dishonest. Here we go. I think this is the whole clip. It's only 30 seconds.
You're talking about how Israel got into the conversation. It was because immediately after Charlie died, one of the first things we saw was this push to make us all think and remember how much he loved Israel. It's because the prime minister.
What? This is some retconning of history right here. There was no push to make us remember how much he loved Israel. I don't remember that. Somebody want to tell me when that happened? Love to see it.
Minister of Israel, who's fighting like a 27 front war, felt that he needed to come do a little mini tour and to be strangely to state that I did not kill Charlie Kirk when nobody was having that thought that I can remember. Nobody.
Guys, Candace can't remember, chat. Candace can't remember when Ian Carroll, the guy that stood in for her show for weeks while she was on maternity leave, she can't remember when Ian Carroll said, it's not even been 24 hours, but we already know who did it. Israel just shot their best guy, or whatever, paraphrasing. She kind of forgot about that. It turned out the only reason why Netanyahu said that he came out and said he didn't kill Charlie Kirk is because these nut jobs kept saying that he did, and they kept fabricating fake evidence. They fabricated fake evidence, including but not limited to the letter between Netanyahu and Charlie Kirk, which Candace Owens said was going to prove that Charlie Kirk was turning on Israel. And then the letter came out, much to Candace's chagrin. She didn't want the letter to be released. She had a copy of it. She did not release it. It really got released by the news, and it turned out it was a love fest. It was the exact opposite of what she said. Every single time when the truth comes out, it's the exact opposite of what Candace Owens says. Every single time. And what she's saying right now is a 100% lie. They did not blame Israel because Netanyahu is acting shady and denying it. No, they blamed Israel because they hate Israel, and everything in their lives is about Israel. That's the truth. That's the reality. And if you can't accept that, you're going to have a hard time in this life. You're never going to get 0 point energy. The first step when you have a problem is admitting that you have a problem. That's the reality of the situation. And now this weird retconning of reality is because she can't justify her own ignorance. She can't justify her own hatred. And therefore, she has to change reality around and make it so that she's the good guy when she was the bad guy the whole time. That's what this all boils down to. And if you are somebody who's afflicted by this, you have a mental problem. You have a literal mental problem, and you literally need psychological help. I don't say this to be mean. I'm just being honest with you. If you're following this and you're listening to her and you think she's saying good things, you literally need to go talk to a psychologist and you need to go get help. I mean that 100%. Okay. I tried, guys. That's the extent of me trying. Let's move on to the other topics. That was fun. Okay, you guys ready for this? By the way, I am still going to talk about 0 point energy and free energy, but I'm going to talk about whatever the hell I want to. Let's go through some of these rapid fire. I've got several to talk through. Number one, Trump made NASA into an intelligence agency. Little cool off between topics. Trump made NASA into an intelligence agency last year, and really nobody paid attention to it. It was just written off as, well, we're trying to break up the unions. But it may have a secondary effect of making it easier to hide technology because NASA has to be seeing some of this stuff. Gary McKinnon talked about, Donna McCare, I think her name was, right? Talked about this, them airbrushing out UFOs. So this is pretty surprising. Okay, let's go to the next thing. We're going to come back to this Grusch thing in a second. We took on that. Okay, a little more politics. I thought we were done, chat. She's just so damn cute, though, chat. Chat, I'm not an AOC fan on any respects, on really any topic in any regard. But this is psychological warfare. Chat, if you want to see real psychological warfare, get ready, chat. This is what it is right here. Wait, see, even Twitter knows I shouldn't even play.
Don't be weird. Don't be weird. Don't be weird.
Chat, this is a directed, targeted psychological campaign aimed directly at us dorks and or nerds. They know that we can't resist a spicy Latina. They know that we have no chance. It's the siren song. She's a little chubby. She's a little overweight. But when she gives you that little punch, ooh, it's just so cute, chat. In fact, I'm a little worried about this. My boy, Marco Rubio, you should not make light of this. Marco Rubio, sir, please hear me out. This might be more important than 0 point energy. Very possible. Wars and presidencies have been won over memes. It has happened. She knows exactly what she's doing in this meme, Marco Rubio. You must fight back. You must employ your own spicy Latinas and get them on social media. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. See, chat, I didn't even want to talk about AOC. We'll skip the Pop-Tarts. Okay, here it is. This is it. Ooh, chat. Tonight, now is the time. Here we go, chat. James Fox. UAP whistleblower David Grusch claims to have seen highly classified videos and photos of recovered UFOs and their non-human occupants. That means aliens, chat. Guys, where are my alien lovers? We're done with politics and now we've moved on to aliens. My alien lovers in the chat, get ready. Now is your time. He and other UAP whistleblowers request immunity from POTUS so they can share with the American people. I'm calling on every influencer, podcaster, reporter, and politician to ask POTUS to make it happen. Time for disclosure is now. Thank you, Red Pilled, for the raid, by the way. I should have said that earlier. Appreciate you, brother. Okay. This chat, no chance. Let's watch. I want to be entertained.
We all know it. We know it. We demand the answers. This is our government. This is our country. This is our information. And damn it, we demand it.
My name is Eric Burleson.
My name is David Grusch.
Jeffrey Nusatelli.
Matthew Brown.
My name is Dylan Borland, a former geospatial intelligence analyst for the United States Air Force.
I'm a Republican congressman from Missouri.
I'm a former career Air Force intelligence officer and former senior intelligence official who served at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
I served as a national security contractor supporting the Department of War and the Department of State.
I can already tell I'm going to get hit. If I let that music play anymore, I can already tell I'm going to get hit with a copyright strike. So we're just going to stop it right here, right now. I'm already over this. What is this? Just them just talking? Yeah, that's it. Okay, great. Okay, man. I feel like these boomers don't get it. Do people really think that this is going to actually get anything done here? Hey, man, we need more people who are like, dude, I totally saw the documents with the bodies on them, bro. Okay, we're going to dig more into this in a minute, but I just made a laughy emoji. But then I kind of realized, because it seemed like we hurt James Fox's feelings, guys. He said, those of you sitting on the sidelines criticizing the likes of Grusch and the others, I don't see you testifying under oath to Congress or willing to lie to the President of the United States. Why don't we all support this call to action and find out the classified details needed to verify these extraordinary claims? And I sort of realized while listening to this, chat, we are cooked. We are absolutely cooked. These people don't realize the implications of what we're talking about. Who wants a quick science lesson? Why don't we see gravity manipulation more often? Well, the answer to that is because space-time is really, really tight, stiff. It's really stiff. It doesn't want to bend, but it can bend. And when we bend space-time, that's gravity. So the reason why we don't see this space-time manipulation all the time is because we're not working on the scales in which you're going to see space-time manipulation. We would need to be working on very, very high energy levels, or we need to work on very, very small scales. This is why Salvatore Pais says attosecond lasers, because they can work on very small scales that can interact with space-time. So let's dig into the David Grusch thing. David Grusch showed up on Piers Morgan, and all those guys were promoting it. And David Grusch says he's seen the documents of the alien bodies. Bad news is, I don't think David Grusch has seen any aliens himself. Just seeing some documents is not the same as seeing alien bodies. So let's go to this.
That was cleared into some.
I thought this is a short one, but I thought this was interesting. Oh, yeah. And why is that science important? Because if we can find a way to manipulate space-time, to deal with the stiffness of space-time, then we, in theory, can make a bubble that floats around freely without inertia, that does all the things that the UFOs do. And what I mean is, yeah, that's what the UFOs are. The UFOs are just manipulating this extra dimension, this space-time. That's all they're doing. It's not magic. They've just figured out how do we interact with that stiffness of space-time. And what's the way to do that? One of the simplest ways, there's 3 ways that I think of. And these aren't exact or physics, anything like that. Number 1, microchips, I just mentioned, or lasers. Number 2, high energy physics, big booms. Number 3, plasma. Plasma, because plasma itself is electromagnetic and the 0 point energy is electromagnetic. So why do I say plasma? Here you go. Listen to this. This is David Grusch.
The administration is having this issue with these luminous orbs showing up at a certain sensitive test range. What is that? You can see that it's intelligently controlled. They come in groups. This isn't just ball lightning here, but it's this plasmoid type intelligence. Now there might be a structured craft behind said plasmoid, and that plasma discharge might be an artifact of the propulsion system, possibly. But we're seeing even weird stuff like that is almost unknowable what it is unless we have some way of studying it or capturing it that I don't know about. The administration.
Have these guys always been saying ball lightning and plasmoid, or did that just start happening recently? Now, I've been too much into this game for too many years now where I can't even remember the lore, but I feel like these guys haven't been saying plasmoid and ball lightning. I feel like that's mostly been Bob Greenier, us, and the Cold Fusion guys that have been talking about plasmoid and ball lightning. And now I'm hearing David Grusch bringing it up to Piers Morgan, saying it's not just ball lightning, which is a natural phenomenon. Kugelblitz, chat. Kugelblitz. He's saying it's plasmoid. This actually sounds like somebody who doesn't quite understand the physics. They're not a physicist, but they're rehashing, playing a game of telephone of what they were told and what they were informed. I'm going to repeat that part. Ready?
It's intelligently controlled. They come in groups. This isn't just ball lightning here, but it's this plasmoid type intelligence. Now
So he's saying, what is he saying here? Is he saying this is not some natural phenomenon? This is an intelligently controlled something or other.
Might be a structured craft behind said plasmoid, and that
he says there might be a structured craft behind it. This is what I've been saying. There's something inside these plasma balls. It's a fusion reactor. It's not that it's just a coherent ball of plasma. There's actually something going on in there. And this is the difference between ball lightning, which will just be, oh, it just happened to come together, versus something that's like a drone.
That plasma discharge might be an artifact of the propulsion system, possibly.
You see how he also says that plasma discharge? And he makes like a sphere, a ball. Could be a artifact of the propulsion. Possibly. Maybe. I'd say that's a good chance.
But we're seeing even weird stuff like that is almost unknowable what it is unless we have some way of studying it or capturing it that I don't know about.
Okay. Next clip. This one. Now, this to me was a big clip. Now, you may say, Ashton, why do you watch these? I actually hate watching most of these because it's all mostly rehash. Even this David Grusch interview was 90% rehash. 90% rehash for the same claims they've made. I saw the images of the aliens. That's why when James Fox and the others are trying to hype this up, it's like, this is the same thing he's always been saying. There's no evidence to go along with this. There's nothing to go along with it. But this is the part where he said something that I don't think has been confirmed or revealed to date. Pay attention. Here you go. You have to be smart and you have to know what you're listening for. Pay attention when they start talking about the technology.
Fruits of our labor, so to speak. And there was a lot of programs that, once again, I thought we were defrauding the American taxpayer, because you have a certain smorgasbord of classified programs reported to Congress, and then Congress authorizes and appropriates funds.
So he's talking about the special access programs. We know what he's talking about now. He's talking about the special access programs. He's talking about these SAPs and USAPs, unacknowledged special access programs. This is what we have to learn if we want to be smart and steal this technology back. Keep going.
Fund said programs, but then you have this carved out base of technology that is sequestered and a lot.
Whoa. You have a carved out base of technology that is sequestered. Those words mean that the government has essentially taken some physics, some technology, and they've said, this is our technology, only we are allowed to have that. That's what sequestered means. So we add these two things up: special access programs, sequestered technology. Okay, continue on, sir.
That is sequestered, and a lot of it has civil application that would, help humanity. And I have to be careful not to infer certain technologies that are unacknowledged by the federal governments.
What? Did you guys hear what he just said? These technologies would help humanity significantly, but I have to be careful not to infer certain technologies that are unacknowledged by the federal government. Chat, we just found my new favorite clip. Yes, thank you, Z Jalapeno. Boom goes the dynamite. Boom shaka laka 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 laka. And of course, Yahtzee. Yes, thank you very much. What does that mean exactly? Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Brett. Do you guys know what this means? This means free energy is actually classified. Probably space-time manipulation in general is classified. How come none of these guys ever talk about free energy? How come they never talk about teleportation and wormholes? Because it's classified, because the technologies and applications are classified. This is why they can't even interact with me. They can't even talk about that this is free energy. Because even implying that it's free energy is potentially classified at the highest levels. Wow. That's what I suspected. And you guys may say, well, yeah, doesn't that make sense? Yeah, but now we know. Because that's the technologies he's talking about right here. Why else would he have to be careful unless he wrote something down and says, you can't talk about these applications of this. You can't say this is free energy. And now think about Salvatore Pais. Think about Salvatore Pais. He's also avoided free energy. In fact, I think one time when I asked him, he said, did I say free energy? No. They have to be super careful never to say free energy. Never to say this is free energy. They have to be super careful not to talk about space-time manipulation. Or at least careful of the context in which they talk about it. I think Salvatore Pais has gone way above and beyond. And that's why he's been so afraid. Well, not really afraid, but the reason why they've hassled him is because he is pushing it beyond. Because he is saying there's an extra dimension. But he's letting me come to those conclusions. He's letting us come to those conclusions. We're reaching those conclusions, and then if we say it, and when we're having a casual conversation, now he's not violating the law. I hope. Okay.
But there's a lot of things that I see civil application and that could be responsibly introduced into society to help us and to also fuel different economies and whatnot. And yes, the closest galaxy, I think it's M31, Andromeda, like you said. However, within our own galaxy, there's extrasolar planets around other nearby stars. But I do caution to ascribe this whole phenomenon as merely just extraterrestrial. That's certainly a piece of the pie. That's likely what some of this is. But there's other, taxonomies of anomalous intelligences, we'll call it, that perhaps it's ultra terrestrial, perhaps it grew up here and it left and it came back, and there's shadow biome, there's other types of origins, there's under the sea that we don't understand 70% of our oceans and what advanced intelligence might have developed on the seabed, so to speak.
Chat, underwater sea base. I'm telling you, 4chan whistleblower, we are going to vindicate you. I know you're out there somewhere. 4chan whistleblower tried to tell us about the alien underwater bases that move around to make UFOs. We doubted him. We had little faith, chat. We also didn't believe in teleportation. We believe 4chan whistleblower, if you're out there. I don't need any evidence. I just need vibes and anonymous sources. I believe, chat. No, real talk. I have come to a conclusion on David Grusch. David Grusch has not personally seen any aliens, but he's seen stuff that shows that we do have space-time manipulation technology. He has seen and he knows we have the technology. He probably does not know the extent at which we have matured the technology. The big secret is that nobody except for us, we're special, chat. Pat yourself on the back. You're special. Nobody except for us knows that we've actually figured out this teleportation technology. All the rest of these guys think it's aliens because they've only seen part of the picture. Dylan Borland, David Grusch, I think these guys absolutely have convinced themselves that this is alien technology, that we can't have this. And that's where they're wrong. That's the critical mistake they're making. And that's the reason why all of their complaints are falling on deaf ears. Because they're coming out here and they don't see the bigger picture. They don't realize we have this technology. We're using it to control the world. We're using it to make sure that Chinese satellites mysteriously blow up. We're doing it to make sure we have control over the land, water, and space. Right? Do you get the bigger picture? We're controlling this technology to make sure that the world doesn't get destroyed. This technology is not a joke. The civil applications are real, but the military applications are real too. Very real. This is why even people like Dr. Phil, they themselves are being black-pilled, chat. Here's Dr. Phil after only 5 UFO releases, and Dr. Phil's already ready to call it quits, chat. We've been in this game for only 3 years, and we're still riding strong. Here we go. Dr. Phil, feel free to cry. If you need a crying pillow, Dr. Phil, I'll get you one. We got it. We've seen all the UFO people. They always come in, chat. We've seen this story so many times before. They come in, they go, the aliens are real. We have to tell everybody about the aliens. Everybody quick, the aliens are real. And then nothing happens. And then they find out it's all about 0-point energy and free energy. And then their minds break. Then their minds break and they don't know what to do anymore. Here you go.
So there are two things in there that are significant. Everything else in that release, filler, just nothing, confetti. And I think you deserve to know the difference because I've spent my whole career telling people, don't let somebody hand you a stack of paper and call it the truth. Show me the truth. And here's what nobody in Washington wants to say out loud. We keep getting these disclosures, but with no context, no answers. Nobody tells us what the investigation found, whether it's still open or whether anybody's even working the case anymore. You get a video, a document, a witness statement, a press release that says more to come. What, are we stupid? That's not transparency. That's some kind of a magic trick. Look over here while I don't tell you what's over there. And I want to be fair about this. I believe the president wants the truth out. I do. But somewhere between him saying release it and it actually landing on a website, somebody's deciding what we get to see and what stays locked up. Here's the problem. I don't know who that somebody is, and neither do you. And that ought to bother every single one of us, no matter what you believe is really going on up there.
Chat, Red Pill Dr. Phil has already himself become black-pilled. Already starting to see the pattern. Wait a minute. Why are we getting like 1960s, like Omega fuzzy quality videos? We know they have super HD. We know they have predator vision and Gorgon stare, wide area motion imagery. How come they're giving us the oldest, jankiest videos? How come there's no context on any of these videos? Where it was from, what the investigation found? Nothing at all. If you don't see that you're being played like a donkey with a carrot in front of it down a path that they want you to go, then you are the mark. And Dr. Phil sees it. And here's the problem before we move on to the next clip and the next thing. The problem with this is that how do you even reveal this? It's clear the reason why they're doing this slow drip is there's no way to reveal this technology without a massive amount of fallout. The fallout is going to be tremendous. I'm talking about industries collapsing. I'm talking about people deciding they don't want to be in this world anymore. I'm talking about we're going to have to start being medieval in our methods to make sure people don't use this technology to blow us all up. The implications of this technology are so massive, so dark. There really is no clean way to do it. This is why I've always said, just rip the Band-Aid off, man. What are we actually doing here? Stop with this slow drip disclosure. Just tell us about the MH370 videos. That will just reveal everything. And then just let the chips fall where they may. That's the only way this is going to work. If we try to do this slow drip disclosure, reveal a little bit, maybe they'll figure out enough, but we won't be able to implicate us. Come on, man. Never going to work. Never going to work in a million years. So we are being fed a story down a path that protects national security, protects the technology and the weaponization of technology, while trying to tell us some story about aliens that may be true, maybe isn't true, but ultimately doesn't really matter. I'm going to answer a quick question before we move on to the next thing. Do you ever ponder about this topic before you found the videos? Not really. I thought aliens were probably real after the Navy 2017 videos. I mean, I thought those videos are proof something else is going on. I thought it must be aliens, just like Dylan Borland, wasn't Matt Brown, David Grusch. I, too, when you see that technology with no context, you, of course, think it must be aliens. But once you've actually read about the science and the history of the science, you'll see that this is actually more likely Tesla technology, more likely John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, who got Tesla's files. More likely those are classified. More likely that technology leads to free energy and leads to space-time manipulation. That's what I think. Next topic, last topic of the night. Travis Taylor. Travis Taylor on the Y-Files. This is an interesting one, guys. I've always wondered about Travis Taylor. Travis Taylor has impeccable credentials, 35 years in military, NASA, contractor as an engineer. He's got all the academic credentials you could ever imagine. Travis Taylor has everything, and he's connected to all the right people. Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Lou Elizondo, all of them. So you have to wonder, what's this dude's deal? What's this guy's deal, this Travis Taylor guy? Is he a Black Project engineer? Is he hiding it? Does he not know? Well, tonight we're going to find out. We're going to warm up into it a little bit by watching a couple minutes before we get to the main event here. Oh, let me switch this. So shout out to the Y-Files, which, by the way, guys, I can't even remember why I'm in a beef with the Y-Files at the moment. It was probably my fault. It's probably my fault. I think I called them out because I thought they were trying to help cover up the woke right guys. I could have been wrong. I'll have to go back and try to figure out. I can't even remember why I'm beefing with the Y-Files at the moment. But we're beefing with them. But anyway, shout out to them for this interview. Here we go.
It was hard to write the code too, and didn't work in the computer, and all it set the air on fire, all this stuff. Well, that's one solution. But if you understand the physics of warp theory and general relativity, There was a paper written in 1999 that is called, the paper is actually called A View from the Bridge, because they were trying to see if Captain Kirk could actually get information from inside the.
Here's the context as we jump into this conversation. He's basically saying the debunkers like Michael Shermer say these craft can't be real because they can't fly around like this. And Travis Taylor's coming back and saying, well, if you can control inertia, if you can control gravity, then they can fly around like that. I mean, it's honestly like toddler level arguments that we have to put up with. But okay, fine. The reason why I find this interesting is it tells us a little bit about, would somebody who's covering this up, would they say this? Is this how they would respond? He seems like a genuine guy. Travis Taylor does. And honestly, from most of these perspectives, I get the feeling that very few of these guys are liars. Even the Black Project engineers that are covering this up, I think they're probably good guys in general.
Warp bubble. Mm-hmm. And what they found was that information can't penetrate the front or the back of the bubble. That it creates an impenetrable information barrier, and so anything will just move around it without interacting with it. So if there's a warp bubble moving through our atmosphere, the atmosphere is just going to move out of the way. It's not going to need to make a sonic boom. It's not going to rip the air apart. The air is just going to act like it's not there.
Right. It's almost.
The air's gonna act like it's just not there. That remind you guys of anything? Everybody wondered, hey man, my favorite thing when the debunkers, when they look at this, how come the clouds don't get blasted away? How come the clouds don't get blasted away? Because when you have a warp bubble, it just acts like it's not there at all. That's the perfect way to describe it. Thank you, Travis Taylor. That was even the best video to show. The better video to show is the other one. Where is it? Here. Why do the clouds not get blasted away? Because it's a warp bubble. Because it's a warp bubble. That's the reason why the clouds don't get blasted away. Everybody wondered. But you can see the light reflecting off the clouds. One thing I'll point out, I'm going to randomly talk about a debunk here. I think it's important to bring up this debunk. Let me remove this. The cloud you see on the right, see that giant cloud on the right side of the screen on here? That cloud's not in the supposed photograph that debunkers claim was used to make this. That giant cloud on the right is not in the photograph at all. Isn't that weird? That alone proves the photographs are not real. Why? Because nobody would add a giant cloud to an already existing photograph when they don't need to add a cloud, especially because the light reflects off the cloud because it's a real cloud. Reflects off the cloud in 3 dimensions. You don't add another cloud to a photo that doesn't have a cloud in it so that you have to add 3-dimensional lighting to the cloud, and there's no marks anywhere. Nobody added that cloud to this image. If somebody added a cloud to an image and then they made this video from it, we would see where they messed up and they added the cloud. That's a real cloud. Nobody's even denying that cloud's real. That's real. Not computer generated, real cloud. So whatever cloud photos people were claiming were used to make these videos, no, they weren't. Not if there's a giant missing cloud in them. Jeez. Okay, sorry. Back to the task at hand.
It's like a micro universe.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's a pocket universe, what I call it.
Right.
But yeah. And so the question there is, does Shermer not know general relativity at all? I'm sure he's a smart guy.
He knows.
So and I know Avi Loeb does, and they're buddies. I mean, so why do they say things like that?
This is where I got to agree with him. And this right here, when he says this, think about what Travis Taylor's saying right here. Guys, we're psychoanalyzing the shit out of this. It's what I do now. I'm a political commentator. He's questioning whether or not Michael Shermer and Avi Loeb are intelligence assets. That's what he's saying right here. Why? Because he's saying these guys are smart. They know what Miguel Alcubierre's warp bubble is. They know that these are the answers to their own questions. They're asking questions like, this is not physically possible. But they know what the answers are. This is what I've always been suspicious about Avi Loeb myself, is that he's a smart guy. There's no way he thinks that aliens are flying around on space rocks. He knows they're using warp drive. So why is he playing stupid? Why is he talking about negative energy is not real and we can't make negative energy? It really does lend to the idea that these guys are actually intelligence assets that are paid to just push a phony science narrative.
Why do they say things like that? Just to say, well, it can't happen. If that was there, it would rip the air apart. It would set the atmosphere on fire. Or what if it was a warp bubble?
Right.
And it was following the laws of physics as we understand them.
We see it happen in water too.
Yes. Oh, there was a project that.
And I can just tell generally based on the comments that people say, I can tell that they may not watch this show or our content, but they see our content. Our ideas are getting out there. This is why I say I don't care how many followers I have or how many more I get, because I already know my message is getting out there. When AJ says you see it happen in water, what's he talking about? He's talking about a refractive index change. AJ is literally talking about the thing that Dave Rossi showed Tim Pool when I brought him on Tim Pool, and he put the glass in the water. He put the pencil in the water. He says, see the refractive index change of the light where it bends? Same idea. We're going to manipulate space-time, and we're going to change the refractive index of space-time. And that's why your object's going to look like it teleports. That's also what total internal reflection means when you see the tail of the plane sticking out, when the plane gets teleported.
DARPA did back in the 80s called Project Warp Theory, or Warp Drive, Project Warp Drive.
Okay, here we go.
And it was, they basically made a submarine that looked like a narwhal, and the big nose out on the submarine had little pockets, little bubbles in it, holes in it, and they would put out nitrogen gas and create bubbles, air bubbles, little bitty air bubbles that would go around, create a warp bubble of bubbles around the submarine, so it would reduce the density of the water.
That's right, the cavitation project. I remember this.
And so it could go fast.
Somebody just said sonoluminescence. Yes, when we talk about cavitation in water, we are generally talking about sonoluminescence or its cousin at a very least. The idea that we can make an implosion bubble that can pull light straight out of the vacuum.
Faster,
yes,
than a submarine in water could go. It would go faster than the speed of sound in water, right? Potentially, which is a warp bubble, but a warp in the water in hydrodynamics, not in space-time dynamics. But so what? I mean, it's a neat idea. It's the same idea. It's just doing it in a different way. We don't know how to create those little bubbles yet, to do a real warp drive.
Why do you think they're keeping it from us?
Okay, this is where it's going to start getting good. This is where we start judging whether or not Travis Taylor knows. By the way, I've already sent him an email, and he didn't respond, which pretty much confirms my suspicions, but we'll see.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, right? It always comes down to who they are.
Yeah, and so even if we put in the, I don't think it made it. I think there were some antibodies that edited out the first report that the UAP task force did back in like 21 or 2. I forget the year. We had a page in there that said it's either us in a classified project that for some reason didn't reveal itself to us, right? Which we rated as a very low probability because we had access, right? It's a near peer, China or Russia. But our intelligence network hasn't given us any information that it was that. It's Mother Nature doing something new that we've never seen before, which is possible for some of them, but not for all of them, right? The ones that look like actual things is unlikely to be ball lightning, right?
Yep.
And then
there it was. There it was again, chat. Ball lightning again. Let me be honest. Do you guys think these guys would be talking about ball lightning if MH370 topic hadn't come on the scene? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Now, what is he saying here? He's saying, number one, and it seems like he's saying he was part of the committee that determined in 2021 the recommendation. He says, number one, it's either us, and we don't think it's that because we had clearance and we couldn't find it. Why would they not reveal themselves? Because they have teleportation technology. They have free energy technology. You're asking why people with free energy technology and doomsday weapons don't reveal themselves to you? Is that a serious question? They're hiding fusion from the world, and you're asking me why they don't reveal themselves? Probably because they don't want to be burnt at the stake. What do you think is going to happen when the Department of Energy comes out and says, we've been hiding fusion for 80 years? Yeah, you could be flying around the Jetsons with miniature fusion reactors, but we decided it was a security issue, and therefore you don't get it. You really think they're going to be honest about that? He says it could be an adversary. Says it could be natural, like ball lightning, but these guys are explicitly saying it's not ball lightning. This is not a natural phenomenon that we're seeing in the skies. It's intelligently controlled. And then, of course, the last option, the narrative.
And there's an oligarch or a group of oligarchs that are outside of working outside of the law or outside of any control, which would require a lot of coordination and a lot of resources, which a lot of them have, right? Or it was something else. And we didn't even say aliens, angels, demons. We left that alone. We just said it was something else.
It's not oligarchs. I know it's not oligarchs. How do I know that? Because those MH370 videos are a military operation. They're a CIA operation. They're not, it's not Iron Man. It's not Tony Stark using the MQ-9 Reaper drone. The whole thing is a military operation. This is why I can tell you, if there is a breakaway civilization, it's not Tony Stark doing his own operations. They have the full support of the military and the CIA. An operation like MH370 is not something an oligarch pulls off. You can't deceive the United States government teleporting a Boeing 777 without them knowing. That's why I know for sure the answer is actually number one. And they've all dismissed this answer. They've all dismissed this possibility. They said, we would know. They would have told us. Unbelievable. I think they actually are that naive. I don't think he's lying. I think what the impression I get from this is that Travis Taylor was never on the inside. Travis Taylor is an outsider who is an intelligent scientist and engineer that they pull in as being the front face of, we're investigating ourselves. Because then he can come out and be honest and say, I never saw anything. They never saw it. I tried to dig around and I couldn't find anything. This is how they do it. This is how they hide it. He's that gullible, exactly. He's gullible enough to believe that they're telling the truth. And then he'll go on the shows and he'll say, they're not hiding anything. We would have found it. This is what I emailed him about. This is what I confronted him about. I'm going to let it keep going because it gets worse.
And that whole list of things got removed from the report. And why? Why would you even? Because we were just showing that we were saying there are all these possible solutions. It's like square root of 4 is 2 and minus 2, right? That's all we were saying.
Well, who has the authority to do that?
He asked this question, by the way, earlier to AJ. He says, what's the square root of 4? And I knew the answer immediately. And you may say, Ashton, you're just saying that. No, I would have immediately said plus or minus 2. He gets AJ on it because AJ is not, he's not with us, chat, in the high IQ futurists, but you guys will get the answer. I know it. I believe in you.
That's the question, right?
It's Pentagon. It's got
well, so Jay Stratton was a 2-star admiral equivalent civilian DISEL, Defense Intelligence Senior Leader, right? 2-star equivalent.
What did you just say about Jay Stratton?
It's like square root of 4 is 2 and -2, right? That's all we were saying.
Well, who has the authority to do that?
That's the question, right?
It's Pentagon. It's got
Well, so Jay Stratton was a 2-star admiral equivalent civilian DISL, Defense Intelligence Senior Leader, right? 2-star equivalent.
Holy smokes, chat. The same Jay Stratton that rolled up to Salvatore Pais to shut down his operation is a 2-star admiral equivalent on the civilian side in the intelligence community. Wow. Now it's making a whole lot more sense. Please, this is why you listen, chat. This is why you listen even to the people you don't agree with or you don't like, because they give you the information. Travis Taylor doesn't see the whole picture. Travis Taylor doesn't see his friends are lying to him straight up. Doesn't see it. Crazy.
I was a GS-15 equivalent. And we had, so there was another.
GS-15's no joke either. That's the highest level I think it goes before you start getting into the whatever advanced promotions.
Another sort of partner that was working for what is now Space Force. It wasn't Space Force then, but and he was a 1-star equivalent. So we had some muscle.
Yep.
And we had the senior members of the Sissy and Hipsy on board. I mean, Rubio was our biggest fan.
Yeah.
Rubio is their biggest fan, chat. This actually reminds me. There's one more clip that I forgot to play, and this actually I think is perfect. Where's the Rubio clip? It's up here further. Marco Rubio is just asked about UFOs. We're going to bring that back.
A conspiracy theory that I believe in. Well, it's not a conspiracy theory. Okay. And, but I have long been on this UAP thing. Okay. And now, I've sort of surrendered that portfolio to someone else who you know well, who's very much in charge of the UAP issue. Again, it's not, what I say is, I don't know who it is, I don't know what it is, but there are things flying over our military installation and they're not ours, and we should look into this, be serious about it. And I did that for a long time in the Senate, and it had two benefits. The first is that obviously it's a legitimate topic, and the second is, whatever the news of the day was, it was controversial, and a reporter comes up to you, and you say to them, look, I don't have time for these questions about politics. Do you realize there's things flying over airspace? We don't know what they are. And the reporter's like, oh, what do you know? Tell me more. So it was extraordinarily effective as a diversionary tactic in addition to. Now, that said, it's also a very legitimate topic that we should be covering. So I don't call it a conspiracy. I don't know the answer to any of it. I'm just, asking the questions about, we should know what's flying over our airspace. But I don't think that's a conspiracy theory as much as it is just, it can be in some sense because people do believe we're covering something up. And I assure you, like in this administration, if we knew, like the president would be all over. Like
chat, I can't love Marco Rubio any more than I already do. A, wholesome chungus. B, he's definitely lying. He definitely knows what those UFOs are all about. This guy was the biggest cheerleader for the UFO topic. And now he's like, yeah, I just handed that off. I'm done with that. It's cool. You guys should pay attention to it. Yeah, we don't know what they are. Could be anything. Guys, he's like the national security advisor to the president and the secretary of state. He pretty much has to know about these weapons. This is why I love him even more. Because now I'm going, damn, chat. He's going to be able to gaslight us very well. He's exactly what we need. And you say, Ashton, don't you want this revealed? I don't even know if I want it revealed anymore. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I might root for it being revealed. I might root for it being covered up. I'm just kind of in the middle of the road. I'm just out here doing things, chat. And that reminds me of another post that I was going to show that we are going to show now. The email that I have seen to Marco Rubio and Chuck Schumer, actually, and several alleged intelligence people. I didn't see the emails of the intelligence people, just the Marco Rubio email. You can believe this or you cannot believe it. I personally don't care. But I got this email and I took some screenshots of the email, and then I immediately deleted any of the screenshots of the email addresses because I figured, if I ever get caught with this email, I don't want there to be any way for them to leak this to anybody. So take it or leave it for what you will. Let me just read this for you. Considering that this was at least 2 years ago that I've had this, at least 2 years ago. And now keep in mind what everybody's talking about. We just heard David Grusch. We just heard Travis Taylor, both talking about ball lightning, both talking about plasma. Now listen to this. This is supposedly from a government scientist, government physicist, to Marco Rubio when he was a senator, and Chuck Schumer, who's still a senator. I'm going to read it for you guys. From the IR video, it looks like MH370 was the victim of a covert test of so-called ball lightning weapons I mentioned earlier. The aircraft and its passengers appeared to be engulfed in some sort of cold explosion, which is a direct reference to Tom Bearden, created by merging of 3 flying orbs. Basically, Russian physicists believed magnetic monopoles / micro black holes, MMMBHS, form the core of these flying orbs. Maybe. Each of these orbs can be remotely generated by a high-powered, ultra-high-frequency microwave Tesla scalar wave generators. And they can be remotely guided by magnetic scalar waves. A cold explosion can be generated by intersecting these Tesla beams. Yeah, who says Kugelblitz? Yeah, this is what Kugelblitz is all about right here. The Soviets spent a fantastic amount of money, tens of billions, on developing such weapons for ASAT and ABM applications. They did a real demo of such weapons off the coast of Japan in 1984. The demo was witnessed by 747 jetliners. One jetliner was checked for radioactive contamination, but blah, 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 something or other. Another more recent spin-off of such weapons is based on explosive-induced proton decay. Now, if anybody were to say, like, I made this letter up or something, I still don't even really know what this is. I can't make up a letter about something that I don't personally understand. A more recent spin-off is explosively induced proton decay, which generates extremely powerful electromagnetic pulses far exceeding energies those produced in a nuclear blast. That sounds scary. Such weapons applications are space-based and constitute the penultimate version of a so-called dome of light weapons in space. No radioactive products have been found so far. So these are all aneutronic nuclear weapons. They don't release neutrons, therefore they release no radiation. Wow. Electromagnetic pulse-based weapons. So that was a quick email from to Marco Rubio. I don't know if he ever saw it. Maybe he never did. You guys could probably FOIA that if you care. I believe. I don't know if they keep those, but I think they do. Now let's go back to Travis Taylor, because this is also revealing what comes up here next. Where's the thing?
Those are the committees.
Yeah, and so I don't understand who would have the power over them to keep us from putting certain things in the report.
Well, but there's an answer to that. Like, who called you, Marco? Because someone made a call. We just need to trace where those calls end, but we can never get there.
Well,
this is why I love. He's like, shouldn't Marco Rubio be able to figure this out? Like, where'd the call from? Shut up, AJ, you norm. This is why you guys don't get the technology. You guys don't understand what's at stake here. This is end of the world technology. This is we control the planet technology.
Representative Burchett just told me that. Tim is a great guy from Knoxville, Tennessee.
He's a Hecklefish fan.
Yeah. He's a good guy, man. So it's so funny. He invited Jay Stratton and I to go to his house and brief him on all this. And so we drove up to Knoxville from Huntsville, Alabama. Jay moved to Huntsville after we started hanging out together. He likes it down there. But anyway.
Wait a minute. So it's going to turn out the physicist that showed up at Tim Burchett's house wasn't Hal Puthoff, although maybe it was. Maybe he was with them. It was Travis Taylor and Jay Stratton. How do I know? Because he's about to tell the story right now.
Wait, we drove up to see Congressman Burchett, and he comes out on the front porch and cut off blue jean shorts.
Oh no! And his Daisy Dukes,
cowboy boots, right? He's got his firearm on his side and a Tennessee Vols golf shirt, right? And he comes out and he takes us in the house, shows us all of his World War II firearms that his dad had got him or what gotten when he was there, whatever. But anyway, and we briefed him, and he said that when you get there, you're there, you have all these great intentions or whatever, and you get there and realize that he said they will not let you do anything. And we were like, well, who is they? And he says the system. And I don't know if he actually knows if there's a they to the system.
I don't think he knows.
I don't think he does. I think it's basically everybody says, oh, you can't do that. That you can't tell anybody. You can't do that.
There is a they. So Jay Stratton and Travis Taylor are the ones that briefed Burchett, but then he's the one telling them that there's a deep state that won't let you take it any further. Of course, because it's about free energy. Because this is all about free energy and teleportation. Of course, they're not going to let you take it any further. Because even if they were to reveal, here's the problem, alien heads. Even if they were to reveal aliens, that would open a thread that we would pull that would lead to free energy. This is why they can't reveal aliens, even if that is true. Because the first question we're going to ask is, what is the power source? What is the power source of those UFOs? And then the truth is going to come out. We've been hiding space-time manipulation. We've been hiding fusion from the world.
They just can't do that. And I think they just accept it, right? Our elected officials can't even do what we've elected them to do because of whatever this they or this system is. And that's probably what, we call the deep state or, administrative state, all these different things that.
One more thing, more credit to MH370X, more credit to us. We're the ones that tied together the legacy program and the deep state. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go back a few years, nobody was saying that the people that were covering up the UFO thing were the deep state. That's something that when I came on the scene, I made sure we were going to tie those two things together. Because the deep state is the same people covering up the free energy. The people that are controlling the planet, controlling the narratives, controlling the perception of reality, those are the same people covering up free energy. It's the CIA, right? And it's important because now we can put these elements in. And now you hear Travis Taylor saying you can call it the deep state, call it whatever you want. Exactly.
It's in the political realm, but I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about in general, humanity wanting to know what their leaders are doing for them.
Humanity is the problem because whether it's Burchett or somebody else, you get a phone call that says, do you want to know about aliens? Or you want to get reelected?
Yeah, I suspect that's right.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that that's exactly right. I mean, I had pushback when Jay invited me to be on the UAP task force.
Pushback from?
So my boss was a 1-star equivalent for the Army. So he would have been a 1-star general equivalent. Now I had done some work for the 3-star that was over him before, but in a way that he didn't actually know my name. He just knew that there was somebody under him doing work, right? But Jake,
we're just going to let this play. At some point in the next couple of minutes, he says something here that I want to react to. I just don't have the exact timestamp somehow.
Called it. Had to actually literally call my boss and say at the Army and say, we need Travis for the interagency task force. It wasn't called UAP task force yet. And
this is pre-Arrow?
Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jay and I retired and then Arrow became.
Okay.
Right. So we retired because we.
So this is interesting too, because he's also presenting this narrative that Jay Stratton and himself were trying to figure out the legacy program. Why are there so many X-Files people that are supposedly trying to figure out the legacy program? Number one question. Number two question, how come they always seem to fall short? They always seem to come out and go, we investigated the legacy program. We investigated the alien UFO anti-gravity technology, and we just couldn't find it. Sorry, just not there. It doesn't exist. Must be aliens. Every time. This is juicy, yeah.
We realized we couldn't get anywhere. Right. And we kept getting doors shut in our face. So anyway, my boss was like, well, why do you need Travis? Why do you need him? And he said and so Jay told, it's funny, Jay's exact words to him was, because Travis is the only guy that can understand the physics and knows how to build shit. That's exactly what he told him. Because,
Did you hear what he just said right there? Why did they want Travis Taylor on the UAP task force? Because he understands the physics and he knows how to build shit. Those two things sound familiar. Those are the same things that the defense contractors want, the black projects want. They want people that know the physics. They don't care if you've got academic credentials. They want people that know the physics and you know how to build things. If you have those things, you have the skill set they're looking for. That happens to be the same skill set they're looking for when they're trying to figure out the phenomenon too.
I grew up building stuff, and
we all watched it on TV.
and our goal was to figure out if there was a heritage, a legacy reverse engineering program, and to get into it and see why there was no progress.
There you go. Well, he just said it right there. Their goal was to try to find the legacy program, get into it, whatever the hell that means, and find out why there's no progress. That's kind of a loaded statement. Who said there's no progress? Are we just assuming there's no progress? Is there a reason why we should think we would know if there's progress? What exactly does alien technology look like? How would we know? This is my first problem is it seems like his whole mindset going into this is totally off. So red flags.
And because here's the thing, I briefed all the way up to the White House. If there is a legacy program, who's doing the work? Because I don't necessarily know personally all of the physicists and engineers that should be working on, but I know who they are. And I know that they're not because I see what they are doing.
You know that they're not.
Yes. And I see what they are doing. And that's when Dave Grusch kind of came along.
That right there shows the absolute hubris of man, doesn't it? I know they're not working on alien technology because I know everything they are working on. And this to me was the big reveal of the entire interview. Either Travis Taylor is a good liar, very good liar. He seems very genuine in this interview. He could be lying. I'm not ruling it out. There are good liars. I've seen them playing poker. Or he's a useful idiot. He's been taken for a ride. They've been lying to him and lying to his face for decades. His friends have. This is the hardest thing that was said. And this is what I told Travis Taylor in the email. I just told him the truth. I said, your friends have been lying to you for a very long time. And that's how they're able to hide it. I think Travis Taylor's not lying. I think he was never brought in. I think he legitimately tried to investigate this. And I think he legitimately didn't find anything. And I think they legitimately are hiding it. And I think he's not lying here either. He says he knows all the people. He's connected to Hal Puthoff. He's working with Jay Stratton. He's working directly with these guys. There is no possible way that he's not directly interacting with people in the black projects. No way. He has to be directly interacting with them. We know that from Salvatore Pais and myself insinuating that the people that wrote the papers in the DIRDs and in Advanced Propulsion Concepts, they're the engineers. He knows these people. So that means they're lying to him. We know for sure they're lying to him because we saw them teleport a plane with some aneutronic fusion reactors. So the question is he lying or is he getting used? Ultimately, he'll have to figure that out, and we'll have to figure that out.
So let me I'm probably getting ahead of you, but
you are, but it's fun.
Last thing I want to say about Grusch here, I think he talks about it around here. Let's see.
And then he got a job offer to go to NGA as a civil servant, National Geospatial Agency. And but he was still also partially under control.
You're talking about Grusch right now, David Grusch, the other person that we just commented on.
From the other leader of the UAP task force. And while I was at NGA as a civil servant, he was asking some of these people the questions, and somebody didn't like it, and they had the inspector general start investigating him. And that kind of brings everybody up to the date of the stories that Dave has told. But what I just wanted to and I want to be clear about something. I think people don't understand the way he tells it is that, to my knowledge, he's never seen anything with his own eyes.
That's what I understand.
And the way he has.
So right there, that was the other big thing I wanted to point out. You got all these people saying, we got to rally around David Grusch. He's trying to tell us the truth. He hasn't even seen anything with his own eyes. What are you talking about? If you're going to rally around David Grusch, you might as well rally around me. I've actually got real evidence that we can corroborate. Whether or not you think the MH370 videos are real or not, it doesn't even matter. Just get the government to release the MH370 files, which they have regardless of the videos, and it'll prove the videos are real. That's all we need. That's going to get us way further than anything David Grusch is going to do. No disrespect. I like David Grusch. This is just delusional to think that David Grusch is going to get us somewhere on this.
And under, discussions with me in a skiff, I've known Dave for a long time. This guy told me this, right? And he's the guy that worked on it, he says. And then our goal was to get those people to say these things under oath. But getting them to say it under oath is the hard thing. And so I think that's why Dave would at least went and said it under oath that, hey, these guys told me these things.
Yeah, I mean, dude, having some guy go under oath saying this guy told me these things, what is that supposed to do? That doesn't tell us anything. That's like Candace Owens saying, I got secret sources, but I can't tell you. Okay, what does that mean? Honestly, there is a lot of parallels, and this is why I bring these topics up side by side. Don't you see this is the same thing Candace Owens is doing? I could choose to believe this with no evidence whatsoever, but it's all secondhand sources. And it's all people that should know that are saying that they don't think it's real, but we know it is. This is why I'm so black-pilled on this topic. A, people are stupid. B, people that are smart are either lying to me straight to my face or they're stupid themselves too. How are we ever supposed to get the truth of this technology out when the people that are investigating it are either lying to us or they're being deceived? That's why I say this topic, and this is our last thought on this, they've got contingency plans on top of contingency plans to keep this hidden. They're not afraid of this coming out, and they're not afraid of us because they've been planning for these eventualities for years, decades. This probably was not the first time this stuff leaked out. You got to believe this stuff has leaked out many times before in the form of Bob Lazar, maybe Mark McCandlish, maybe Stanley Meyer. Bunch of different ways. And it always gets suppressed. Cold fusion. Every single time. A big part of me just wishes I could just get plugged back into the Matrix. Chat, the steak might be fake, but it's delicious. I'd rather just not even know about a lot of this. But we fight on. We fight on, chat, like heroes do. Let's go to the super chats. Thank you, everybody in the Pilled chat. Thank you for that huge raid from Red Pilled 78. Appreciate you, brother. Nice to see you again. Been a long time. Thank you, everybody in the Rumbled chat. Rumbled chat was popping off tonight. Thank you for watching through all of our forbidden topics. Candace Owens, jetpacks, and what was the third one? Crap. Oh, daylight savings time. Brutal. Voice for Good says, caught red-handed and still doubling down. Shameless. Appreciate you, man. And double the chat. Appreciate that. Cheers. It's Central Time, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate those super chats. My channel says, can we talk about orbs now? Hopefully you got your dose of orbs, guys. A light dose of orbs tonight. Moose G007 says, Soylent Green. CIA favorite food, according to John Kirikow. Guys, John Kirikow, I would not trust him either. Something's not right about that guy. He's clout chasing, and he's kind of doing the work of our adversary. I don't think he's super malicious, but I also don't think he's acting in entirely good faith either. So be careful of John Kirikow. If he was serious, you would think he would want to reach out to me to reveal MH370. Like, this guy hates the CIA. The CIA ruined this guy's life, but he doesn't want to talk about the videos that show the CIA using super advanced technology on the plane. Isn't that a little suspicious? This is the same vibes I get from Hal Puthoff. Hal Puthoff supposedly wants to reveal the UFOs for everybody. Has all these scientific papers, but he doesn't want to talk about these videos that prove all his theories right. They're going to get him a Nobel Prize. Isn't that weird? CIA guy doesn't want to talk about a CIA operation. Kind of weird, huh? What they say is once in the CIA, you never leave. Follow-up super chat says, watch that debate. It was painful. It was like waterboarding. It was a painful debate, but it was necessary. Just like me reviewing all of that evidence and all of the details of it were necessary. We have to break down the psychological bullshit propaganda that has been built up so that hopefully these people can rehabilitate and see the truth. Unfortunately, I think it was mostly on deaf ears. Thank you for that super chat, though. Chaotic Good said some of us are still normal, chat. Yes, I don't mean that all women should just lose the right to vote. I'm just saying I see why women didn't have the right to vote before. I still think it was the right choice to let women vote. But I'm just saying, if I could give up my vote so that Candace Owens would not have a vote, I would do it in a heartbeat. See, that proves I'm not sexist or misogynistic. It's not about sex. I would give up my own right to vote just so that Candace Owens doesn't have a right to vote. Because I think that would balance out to be a net positive. Anyway, cool. Voice for Good says, real is true, true is power, power is freedom. Chat. I was working on this. It's not finished. Ashton Forbes's multi-point plan to fix America. I haven't really worked out pretty much any of my points. I know that number one is goodness. We need goodness in America to be the most goodest nation in the world. And I know that number two is essence, chat. Essence. As in, moisture is the essence of water. Or moisture is the essence of wetness. And wetness is the essence of beauty. This is very deep. Very deep. This is how we fix America, by the way. Just follow this multi-point plan. Goodness, essence, and let's just throw aliens in there. Aliens. Goodness, essence, aliens. Very moist, very wet, very beautiful, chat. Very deep. Mike M says, damn, Ashton stream's on fire tonight. Controversy and truth bombs without even wearing the shades and avoiding dropping F-bombs, chat. I'm trying to get better. We're working on it. And I'm trying not to crash out as hard. It's not as entertaining, I know. I know, but we got to do it. We got to go mainstream. We got to get those Disney bucks. We got to do what we got to do. Disclosure Boner says, Dr. Dickhead Travis Taylor, my narrative. Whoa. Travis Taylor doesn't deserve those strays, chat. I actually have not seen anything to believe that Travis Taylor is covering this up, but he is connected to all the people that are probably covering this up. So I would love to talk to Travis Taylor. In fact, I would love to talk to any of these guys. And honestly, if we're going back to the Candace Owens thing, I would love to be in either position, either grilling any of these engineers or people that claim they were the little X-Files, Mulder, Scully dynamic duo. Put me on the hot, put me with them on the hot seat and we'll get disclosure. Or confront me, get Eric Weinstein, get whoever else you want, Mick West, whoever debunker, and you come at me over the MH370 videos. I won't even charge you $300,000. And I guarantee you I'll provide evidence as opposed to just, well, I feel like this. How dare you question me? Okay. Depot Dog. What's up, brother? I published a paper on density stratification theory, which explains the cosmos. Take an opportunity to check it out and comment. I'm publishing here because I think it's safer. Check it out right there, guys. JRJ. And I give no promises on anything, but I will try to check it out. RJ Selmot, chat. Check out his paper. There you go. Thank you very much, good sir. I appreciate it. Timothy Foster says, more has been learned from Ashton and fellow Four Orbsies. Just a fact, chat. We try, chat. And I'm jet lagged. It's been a long week, so that's going to be it for me for tonight. Thank you. Big shout out to everybody at MH370X. Big shout out to Douglas Miller and Gabriel Diaz. Check out the Gabriel Diaz conversation if you have not checked it out. I apologize for the audio. I swear next time we have a talk, I will fix that. And lastly, Tom Vallone, chat. Sunday, Tom Vallone interview will drop. Part 1. It's, I don't know, almost 2 hours of two of the smartest people in 0 Point Energy going back and forth. If you have been enjoying the content, especially the scientific content to date, you are not going to want to miss the Tom Vallone discussion. I will get the link up for you guys tomorrow morning so that you can get ready and put your alarm bells on. Thank you, MH370X. I love you guys. Peace out. We'll be back on Sunday with the interview. Later.
Infrared eyes, scanning the black, tracking the heat, never turning back. Control 22, a covert gaze. Control 33, in the cosmic maze. Controls in the mix, secrets untold. Silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Piers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. In the silence of space, they keep their post, shields unseen yet feared the most. With precision and speed, they warn of danger, keeping us safe from the missile's anger. As Piers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. Controls in the mix, secrets untold, silent watchers, brave and bold. In the shadows, they silently glide, protecting our interests, far and wide. As Piers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar, guiding our defenses like a guiding star. As Piers, sentinel of the night, watching over with infrared sight, alerting us to threats afar.